entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey guys, and welcome to the, second episode of this very vague podcast we don't have a name for yet, but we're working on it. My name's Enrique, and I got my co-host.
I'm Nat, and yeah, this is our catch-all podcast for stuff that doesn't fit into our specified podcast, because I think we also have a Star Wars one and a Game of Thrones one and some other stuff, and this is just general nerd shit that's happening.
Yeah, this is a weird kind of catch-all. We don't have a name yet. We're thinking about it. We've tried Geek Salad, ClusterCast, and a bunch of other random stuff, but who knows? We'll come up with something eventually.
Yeah, one of those was taken by a bunch of dudes that made their own little custom South Park avatars, so we didn't want to steal their thunder.
Yeah, but we'll work on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess going on to speaking about all the fun stuff that is in the geek world. So I guess we'll start off with the most obvious one, Endgame, because Nat just actually watched it recently.
Yeah, we just watched it last night, and it was good. It was great even. I don't think it hit me as hard as Infinity War did, but it was a nice little bow on the end of the cinematic universe, phase 1 through 3 kind of thing. I know they're still going with more stuff, but it's definitely a nice little way to cap off everything and bring everyone together. And it was nice to see everyone not dead, except for Thanos. Spoilers, I guess. Is that a spoiler that Thanos loses at the end of Endgame?
Yeah, I guess we should probably say spoiler alert, but I mean, the movie's been out for 2 weeks now, so I guess that's kind of...
I think 3 weeks actually, and I think the Russo brothers straight up said all right, it's okay to talk about it now.
Yeah, I think it was this past Monday. They're all right, you've been officially spoiler free now, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Do you think part of it was maybe just because it's been hyped up for so long, for the past 3 weeks, that you kind of went into it with higher expectations than normal?
Not exactly. I don't know how high my expectations really were. I knew that major old Avengers were gonna die. I knew that Iron Man or Captain America were gonna die. I was it's gonna happen. They gotta get these guys out of the picture and pass the torch on to Spider-Man and Black Panther and all these other dudes that haven't had their full screen time yet. Captain America's had 3 or 4 Captain America movies. Iron Man had 3 movies. Hulk's been around since the beginning, even though he wasn't the same guy at the beginning.
Oh man, did you ever watch the original Hulk, the Ang Lee? Was it the Incredible Hulk?
The one from 2002 or the one from 2009?
Yeah, 2002. With that was directed by Ang Lee, and it was with I think Eric Bana was Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Eric Bana was Bruce Banner, and it was the worst shit I've ever seen.
Oh god, dude, I remember I was watching it in theaters, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world when I saw it.
Yeah, because you were 10?
Yeah. So even the scene in the desert where he rips the tank off and flings it off, I'm yeah, this is the Hulk, woo! And then I tried rewatching a few years later, and it's just this did not age well at all.
No, yeah, I think I had the same sentiment. I think I'm a couple years younger than you. I was 7 or 8, I think, when it came out. And I was yeah, this is great. He's fighting a radiated poodle. This is freaking awesome.
Oh, I remember that. The weird, bulldog and poodle that were, gamma monsters.
Yeah, that was... And for some reason, they were just we gotta make gamma dogs, because why not?
Oh, God. Man, it's a shame to think of all those movies that you really liked when you were a kid and that didn't age well, because same thing happened to Spawn. I rewatched that recently, and that movie, again, was just not made to endure the test of time.
No, Spawn, actually, I still like Spawn, but for not the same reasons that I liked it when I first watched it. Because when I first watched it, I was this is awesome, and now I'm this is campy.
I will say, John Leguizamo still made a badass Vindicator. I think his part was great.
Oh, no, yeah, wait, absolutely.
Was it Violator or Vindicator?
One of those V words that sounds bad.
It was Violator, yeah.
Violator.
But man, yeah, dude, it's definitely campy, and like the CG, and like you could tell he's wearing just a really big, thick rubber suit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll still go back and watch that. Like that's a movie that I would tell people that they should try to watch. I wouldn't ever tell someone to go back and watch the 2002 Ang Lee Hulk movie.
Definitely not.
The original like Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, totally. Those are great movies.
Those age well. Even the third one, as campy as it was still good.
Yeah, it was like whenever people bring up Spider-Man 3, my first reaction is to just go but then yeah, I look back and I'm like, there was some stuff that I kind of liked. I liked Sandman.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I think everyone just goes because like the one thing that stands out is what Peter Parker having his like emo I'm a badass kind of montage where he's walking down the street with jazz music and dancing and
pelvic thrusting.
Oh god, yeah, the pelvic thrust. That was the director choice there.
I can't imagine Tobey Maguire being like, you know what I should do at the very end? I should just like thrust my dick towards a crowd of women. That seems like a great idea.
That would make me look like a badass.
That'd be so cool. And then when he's like on the phone with, who's he on the phone with? Is he on the phone with like Mary Jane or J. Jonah Jameson? And the girl is like feeding him cookies.
Yeah,
she's like, I have chocolate chips, and he's like, go make me some.
Oh god, it was so bad. All right, but bad movie aside though, so like overall though, you enjoyed Endgame?
I did enjoy Endgame. There was definitely more things about it that I didn't like than in Infinity War. Like Infinity War, there was like maybe one or two things I didn't like, and in Endgame there was like 5 or 6.
Really? Like what?
I didn't like, and I think it makes sense in the like time travelness of the plot, how Thanos in this movie is just like, you know what, I just want to kill everybody and I'm gonna destroy Earth and I'm gonna laugh at every moment of it. And it's like, this isn't why I liked you in the last movie. The last movie I liked you because you were like sympathetic and you had to make a hard choice to like sacrifice your daughter for the Soul Stone and all this stuff. But like this Thanos like didn't have to do that stuff, and he's like,
he's a dick.
He's a total just like ruthless, heartless dick. And I think that made it like a little bit nicer to see him like get his ass beat and then, you know, snapped at the end of the movie, which it was a little more like palatable to see this Thanos get.
He was definitely more of like a villain in this one, but like you said, I think that you chalk it up to the time travel, because this wasn't the original Thanos from the Infinity War. He was like the Thanos from much earlier, before he had to go through like the whole sacrificing Gamora and all that stuff.
This is Thanos from like just the very beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which
that's where they pulled him from. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then like I thought that it was cool that he had like the double sword thing. Like I dug his design with his like using his armor and, you know, him actually like really fighting in this one, because he didn't really fight in Infinity War. Not really.
That's true.
He like, I mean, at the very end, like all the Avengers like tried to fight him, and he was just like, "Man, I have all the Infinity Stones. I'm just gonna ignore you guys. I'm gonna snap my fingers now."
Yeah, sure. Like they threw down a little bit, but it was more like they were just keep making a game of keep away. Because I mean, they did have the badass scene with him like throwing a moon at Tony Stark, which was kind of awesome.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was definitely more like they didn't really throw down like they did to the level that they did in Endgame. Because I mean that was like a full-fledged, like I think that was like the last third of the movie was just one giant fight.
Yeah, or it was pretty close. It was the first half of the last third, because the second half of the last third was after they beat Thanos. There was a large section at the end of the movie that was just like after Endgame.
That's true. Like kind of like almost like a mini epilogue a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, with everybody, Captain America's old and shit, and that was.
I had the biggest problem with that because, like, I like their definition of time travel, how they kind of explained it in the movie, because the whole thing was like you can't change the past because that's kind of your future and all this kind of stuff. And at first, it made my brain cringe in the worst, like not cringe, but like crinkle in the worst way, trying to figure everything out. But it's cool how they established it, but then I thought they kind of went back on it at the end with like Captain America somehow disappearing and then just living the rest of his life out.
Right.
But apparently the Russos confirmed, I think on Twitter, that he actually didn't stay there the whole time. He lived his life out, and then he came back to the present.
Well, he must have had to, because he had to return the Infinity Stones at the moment that they took them. So I'm guessing he went back and returned the Tesseract in 1970, and then he just like fucked off for 42 years until 2012, I think, was like the invasion of New York, when he could finally start like putting the last ones back. And like, how the fuck did he put the Soul Stone back?
That was my question, because I don't think it's not like a vending machine. You got like you put the soda can back up it or anything.
Yeah, like I'm very curious to see how that worked. Did he? Is that why he came back? Because he killed his wife?
Oh my god! Oh god, awful.
It's like, well, you have to kill someone to return the Soul Stone too. Okay, well, wife, you're getting old.
Well, not just that, but like the awkward meeting with him and Red Skull. You know, like, hey.
Yeah,
you?
Exactly.
How are you?
I would have been interested if they added that little snippet of like, or they added like flashbacks to like him in 1970, and like he returns to Tesseract, and then him deciding like scratching his chin like maybe I should be a normal person, and then like you get little like snippets of his life, and then like you hit like the major plot points like just 30 seconds each, where he's like sneaking around like putting the staff back where the staff is supposed to be, and stuff like that. And then like
cool.
getting to like the Soul Stone. I guess he could return the Soul Stone at any point though, because like he doesn't have to return it when it was taken. He should return it before it's taken.
But see, and that's what confuses me, because if he returns it before it's taken, then like how shitty is that? If like poor Black Widow's like falling to her death, she looks to her side and she sees like Steve putting the stone back, like, oh hey.
Oops.
Awkward.
Or maybe he just like went back in time and was like, I have this. I'll just like throw them in a river, and let the universe work it out.
Let everything figure it out.
Yeah, just like, or like driving down the road and take like one, throw it out the window here, and drive 100 miles and throw another one out and see what happens.
Fuck around with like Thor's hammer for a little bit.
Yeah, some fucking like dad with a metal detector is just like walking down the road, finds one.
What's this?
Oh, what's this?
What a twist. But yeah, I mean, it definitely had some like minor like plot holes, but I think overall the movie did such a good job with fan servicing that I just overlooked everything.
Yeah, I was like slightly hopeful that when the Doctor Strange portals opened, like Tom Holland would come back, and then like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would be like, wow, we're from different timelines.
I'm kind of hoping that have you seen the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home?
Literally the moment that we got home was like, oh, I can watch it now because I've seen Endgame.
Oh yeah, that's right, because the Tom Holland gave like that big disclaimer at the very beginning.
Yeah, which is pretty funny because he's the one person that's always like spoiling shit for people by accident because he's a goof.
People are saying like, oh, if he's warning you about spoilers, it's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that like as an Easter egg they would have, because it's all about multiverse, so they'd have Tobey Maguire and what's the other guy who did Amazing Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield,
like both of them just kind of like cameos or something.
Yeah, or even just like the all the different Spider-Men from Into the Spider-Verse.
That would be my ultimate dream movie later on for Spider-Man, if they actually managed to do like a Spider-Verse film.
Like a live action one?
Yeah, like just different versions of Spider-Man and all that.
That would be pretty cool. And if they added like 2099, like they had the post-credit scene in
Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, yeah.
O'Hara.
Oh man, he's actually been one of my favorite, I guess, alternate characters that they've created. So even just seeing him and like Alchemax and all that stuff, man, I really can't wait for him to actually be on there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's so many different like Spider-Man and Spider-Man suits, and like different like phases of his life. There's like Scarlet Spider, and then there's like Captain Universe or whatever when he like.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Absorbs the power of the universe at some point.
Yeah, the Omniforce, and then you have Spider-Punk is probably one of the classic ones. You got Ben Reilly and all that stuff. Yeah, man, like there's a lot of different versions, so they could definitely do that, especially if they're opening up like the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, he could come back as the bombastic Bagman.
I forgot about that guy. Called. He's the one that had like the Fantastic Four outfit, right?
Yeah, he has a Fantastic Four jumpsuit, but he has no mask, so he just puts a paper bag over his head.
Classic. I remember unlocking them the PlayStation Spider-Man game.
Yeah, and he only had 2 web vials.
Yep.
That was his like special ability, is he doesn't get to have as much webbing. Like, cool.
That's just like hard mode.
That's fun.
Yeah, but I think they did a really good job overall with like Endgame. This definitely wasn't a perfect movie, but I think it did a good enough job of kind of wrapping everything up and setting up the. I mean, it didn't really leave a lot of questions unanswered, so it kind of makes a clean break from that phase of Marvel.
Yeah, and like I said, it definitely like it. I think it did a good job at phasing out the old Avengers. Like, so Captain America is like an old crippled fuck, and he's probably gonna die shortly. Iron Man is actually dead. Black Widow's dead. Hawkeye is a family man now. Thor is just like fat and wants to go fuck off.
Right.
Am
Hulk
I
is like
missing someone?
crippled, and he's not really like a raging guy anymore, so he's probably like out of commission.
Yeah, Hulk is a crippled hipster. And yeah, that's the original 4. Or I mean 6 6 Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all pretty much like, man, they're phased out, and now we got like Black Panther and Spider-Man and Captain Marvel and the Guardians to an extent.
There's I read some like interviews like post Endgame talking about like what's next for like the universe and stuff, and I think the Russos had like mentioned that Nova, either the Russos or Kevin Feige mentioned that Nova, the character, was kind of like on the table at one point for like phase 2 or phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really know how to introduce him, so they scrapped him. But they still kind of want to do something with him, so he might be a potential character for the new like phases coming out.
Yeah, they really like had to wait a while, I think, to make stuff like Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy work. Like, I'm glad that those weren't some of the original ones, because I feel like they could have fucked those up really hard if those were some of the first. Because like Iron Man is easy, Captain America pretty easy, but that first movie kind of blows. Hulk, all right.
I think Thor was probably the hardest one, because that's the one and Doctor Strange, because that's where you're bringing in magic.
Yeah, magic stuff, just magic BS.
Yeah, and I think that at that point people kind of started getting a little like, but I think they did it well for the most part.
And I think that's probably why like Thor Ragnarok was the best Thor movie, because it had less magic stuff. But
Thor Ragnarok was great, especially because it gave you a little bit of like Planet Hulk storyline in there as well.
Yeah,
which I think worked like fantastically for it.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, the Marvel movies that had magic stuff were like not awesome. Doctor Strange was like decent, but not great.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange was also one of the last ones they made too, though. So I think by then they kind of already had a good kind of setting for what they were doing.
I think that that definitely helped. It was towards the end. That was phase 2, right?
Like end of phase 2, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were they had a handle on how they were doing stuff. They'd struck. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was probably like the tipping point for them, where like it was like, all right, like they know how to do like diverse casts and like how to be funny without being like, that's not really funny kind of stuff. Like, because some of those, some of those earlier ones were like, that's not funny.
Yeah, you could tell they were like, it was really kind of cringy. I think, Avengers did a good job, but I think Avengers wouldn't count it as much, because each of those characters in that movie had about 2 to 3 movies to build themselves up. I think you're right. Guardians of the Galaxy was the first one where they had a really big multicast, and they spent enough time giving each character like a nice little backstory and personality, and the movie felt really well spread out.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is good. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is... That's nice that what's his face, James Gunn is
he's
doing
back.
that again.
Yeah, I think the cast had like a really big like protest on him. A lot of them said like if he's not back, then they're not gonna do the movies anymore.
Yeah, I think like specifically Dave Bautista was just like, yo, I'm not doing this if he's not here, because it's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad they brought, because I think they were even still planning to use his original script idea and stuff anyway. So they're like, let's just kiss and make up and bring him back. So.
Yeah, let's ignore like shit from like 10 years ago and get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, James Gunn is also the guy that worked with Troma films, and anybody who've ever seen a Troma film, you know that he's the poster boy for, trying too hard edgy humor.
Wow, what movies did they make?
Oh, dude, it had the most popular one's Toxic Avenger,
Okay.
and there was like Tromeo and Juliet, and a bunch of like they were like B gore movies essentially.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, I think the Toxic Avenger, and like Tromeo and Juliet are probably the two most popular ones. But then they had some weird ones like Surf Nazis Must Die. I think Poultrygeist, which was like Night of the Undead Chickens and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen Poultrygeist. I remember that.
Yeah, it's just like really weird, stupid like movies. A lot of them just became kind of cult classics, though.
As do a lot of movies with names like Poultrygeist.
Touche. But yeah, no, man, the movies were great. So I'm glad you finally got to see it, dude. It's gotta suck being one of those biggest movies and like trying to avoid social media and spoilers for the whole time.
Yeah, I would like to personally thank everybody that I follow on social media for not being a total asshole and like spoiling shit. Like, wasn't there some like really like famous basketball player or something like that like a week and a half ago that just like dumped some huge spoiler on Twitter and everyone was like, "Can you fuck off?"
No, I didn't see that, really.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. Like, if it's not like LeBron James, I don't know who their names are because I don't follow sports. But it was some moderately popular basketball player, and he just dumped some huge Endgame spoiler, and people were just like, "You giant asshole."
See, I'm glad this is the kind of thing like that the entire world just banded together for.
Oh yeah, they really did. I think even more so than Infinity War. I got lucky with Infinity War because I was like, before Infinity War came out, I was in like a lull with Marvel movies. Like I had gotten burnt out by the really shitty like middle MCU movies like Thor 2 and like Iron Man 3 and like those ones. I was just like, whatever. I don't think I bothered watching Age of Ultron until way later. Civil War, didn't care about that. And then we just like happened to wander into Infinity War. Basically, we're just like, let's go see a movie. What is there? Avengers, sure. And then I was like, oh shit, this movie is great. I'm glad I didn't know anything about it.
That's good. Yeah, so I got lucky with Infinity War because I think somebody did spoil it for me, but I've read the comics, so I knew that Thanos, snaps away half the universe anyway.
Right.
So like, it wasn't that shocking for me, but man, I would have been pissed if that was like the first time like hearing it, because I think that's the first movie where they haven't had a happy ending. Because every other
definitely.
Marvel movie has been pretty formulaic, which I think ties into like the kind of like that burning out feeling you were talking about. Because they all follow the same formula. The hero has like they go through the standard hero's journey, and they all finish with a nice little happy ending and an Easter egg for the next movie. But Infinity War was the very first one that had that, like, just very somber, really sad ending that you walk out and you're like, wow.
Yeah, I want to die.
Oh, man, speaking of which, one thing that I loved is when we went to see the movie, I don't know if they did it with you, but you know how they always do, like, the previews and crap, like, before the movie?
Yeah.
As Endgame was starting, they did, like, a little cameo of, like, summing up what happened in the previous movies. But then they did like a reactions for people after finishing Infinity War. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious just seeing everybody's faces. Like there was one where like this kid had like 1,000-yard stare. Like walking, and the kids are probably like 7 or 8 just walking out of like the theater, and the mom's like, honey, you have to say something, it's a movie. And he just looks like he's just seen some shit in Vietnam.
No, we did not see that, but I really wish we did because that sounds great.
Dude, it was funny, man. It's cool because I mean, this is like 11 years worth of like movie build-up, so a lot of people got invested behind these characters and all that. So I think it was just like a big community thing for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's like little kids that grew up with this stuff. Little kids that instead of growing up with fucking Ang Lee Hulk, they grew up with Iron Man 1.
That is true, and they are much better for it.
Yeah, they are. You know what? I did want to say, I don't think I'm ever gonna watch another trailer for a Marvel movie ever again. Because I wish that I hadn't seen anything before I watched it. Because when they fucking decapitate Thanos in the first 10 minutes of the movie, I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, right?
And then I'm like, oh, wait, but I know he comes back because I saw the trailer and he has like his armor and his like double-bladed sword. And I'm like, I wish I hadn't seen that trailer because I'd be more like, what?
Yeah, that's true. Like that definitely kind of took me out of it. But I will say, though, that seeing that killing him in the first probably 10 minutes of the movie, I sat there, I was like, I have no idea what the hell's going to happen right now.
But you're right. I figured it was going to be some like time travel baloney.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that like it was kind of spoiled because everybody had that theory about time traveling and stuff. But I think despite that, they handled it pretty well, and like what they each did was pretty kind of unpredictable.
Well, yeah, and like too, like all the theories about time travel with the time stone was gone out the window because when they see the gauntlet, he destroyed the stones. So if you had no idea that he was gonna like be back at any point, it would have been like, what the fuck are they gonna do? The stones are gone. Like they have no way of time travel. Thanos is dead. Like what are they supposed to do now?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah, they definitely did a good job of keeping you on your toes a little bit at least. So like the movie didn't feel predictable, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was I forgot that Hulk snapped his fingers to bring everyone back. And then when the portal opened, the Doctor Strange portal opened, I was like, wait, how did it? Oh, right. He snapped his fingers like 45 minutes ago. I just forgot.
Yeah, right. It was like the pacing was so weird, but like I think it all like it felt good because like I said, you forget completely about Hulk bringing everybody back because they don't even mention twice about it. No. And before you have a moment to like process that he just snapped, Thanos, destroys the whole Avengers building. And I remember when that happened, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that one was a little bit like. It was super cool to see. What was it? Was it Ant-Man that he's like walking towards the window and he's like, guys, and he has this look on his face like we did it, and then just the whole building just gets leveled. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, it was cool because I think like when was it Nebula like the evil Nebula came back, I knew she was gonna betray them, but I didn't realize that she was gonna bring Thanos back. So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, that's true. When she started walking towards the time machine, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude. When you see portal opening, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna bring Thanos back. But then you see the entire ship, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Speaking of that ship, Captain Marvel, that was pretty sick that she just comes out of nowhere and just blows it up.
Dude, I think they used her just enough because she's kind of like that MacGuffin that she can take on everything. Mm-hmm. And she's also like that character that they introduced the very, very last, like probably like a month before Endgame came out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an awkward thing where it would have been really shitty if they have her be the one that saves the day for everything. So they had her on screen just enough to like lay the smackdown when she needed. Then she went off world to kind of like take care of everything else because they had a pretty believable excuse for that too. So I didn't get sick of her, man. She was awesome.
Yeah, I will say, I think that was one of my favorite parts of the movie is when she's like basically reenacting the Captain America and Thanos scene where Captain America was like holding on to his gauntlet to like keep him from snapping his fingers, and she's like holding him back with like one hand basically. It looks like she's gonna like bend his fingers all the way back, and he tries to punch her and just nothing happens. And you see
he tries to headbutt her and you just hear like a clink and she just looks at him and smiles. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and he just like it goes back to his face and he has that like oh shit look on his face like I fucked up.
Yeah, but even then he like rips the Power Stone out and uses that to punch her, which I was like, dude, that's clever. I was like, oh man, this is like that whole end scene. I was just like really amped up.
Oh yeah, I mean when Tony Stark did the old switcheroo with the gauntlet at the very end. Oh man, and he says, "I am Iron Man." I was just like, "Oh, my dick is rock hard right now."
Oh, dude, it was like a baby armor. I was like, "Yeah." Well, because like they keep like, and I knew they were gonna win, but they paced it so well that even though you have them in the back of your mind, like they're gonna win, there's always that like, there's that voice where like, but maybe they don't, because he keeps getting so close to snapping. I think like 3 or 4 times, and you're just like, oh come on. It felt like tantric the whole time.
Yeah, because he thinks he has the stones in his hand, and when he snaps his finger, it's just like clink. It's like, what? Where'd they go? How do you do that?
I don't know, man. Then you see him with the things on his gauntlet. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm the whole time I'm thinking like, how did he get all the stones off of one gauntlet and onto his?
But then you realize it's like it's an Iron Man gauntlet, so like the technology probably just integrated with itself.
Right, he can probably just control it by himself. Also, the Pepper Potts suit in that movie was like awesome.
Yeah, dude, that was badass too. The rescue armor.
Yeah, when I saw the. Not a trailer, but I think like a screenshot or something of the silver and blue armor, and I was like, whoa, that Iron Man armor is sick. And then I watched the movie, I'm like, hey, whatever happened to that suit that I saw in the oh, there she is.
Yep. Yeah, I remember because I think it was her in front of a green screen holding it.
Yeah, and I liked the thing where he like opened up his like back portal and like Thor shoots lightning into him to like power up his beam.
Oh yeah, yeah, like it was like a generator for it.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, dude, man, like that. God, that movie did so much right. It definitely had some like a couple of like speed bumps, but I think overall though it did so much good that it's easy to overlook them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of what parts of the movie I didn't thoroughly enjoy.
I think for me it was just more like logical things, like the whole Nat and like Hawkeye thing for the Soul Stone. Like that scene was cool, and like them fighting it out about who's gonna sacrifice themselves. Like I thought was like really well done, but I also stopped. I was like, man, like that seems like a dick move on Nebula's behalf because she knew what the price was.
Right? Yeah, she didn't like
warn them or anything.
She didn't say specifically what it was. She was just like, Thanos went there with Gamora, and then he left with the Soul Stone. But she didn't say he killed her to get the Soul Stone. He could have just like happened to kill her on the planet and then left with the Soul Stone.
See ya. But I feel like that should have been like something she should at least like brought up, you know, rather than like, hey, we're gonna go get the Soul Stone. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, like why not break some like mass murderer out of jail or something like that and bring him and be like, man, throw him off the cliff.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it has to be something you love or something you hold dear.
That's true.
But I mean, at that point, like I would have brought like a pet guinea pig or something, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Just be like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You weren't gonna live very long anyway. Your lifespan is really short.
I'm sorry, Fluffers, and just toss him off the cliff.
Just spike him off the cliff. At least make it fun.
Oh. But yeah, man, glad you enjoyed it though, dude. It's a movie that was long in the making, so I'm glad you finally got to see it.
Yeah, 3 hours went by real fast too. I was genuinely worried about like the pee break thing.
Yeah.
Like in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pee like 5 minutes before the movie starts. And even though I did, I sat down. I was like, I'm drinking a Mountain Dew right now. Like,
let's do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink. I think I ate. What did I get? I got like popcorn chicken at the movie theater. I'm like, maybe the salt from this will dry me out and I won't have to pee.
It'll dehydrate me just enough.
It'll mummify my insides.
Oh god. Ugh, gross.
Speaking of someone's insides,
Segway?
ProJared cheated on his wife.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible. Womp womp. Good segue.
Yeah, I really had to think about that one.
Yeah, dude, that's a shitty situation all around because
it's
always like
situation.
Awkward when it's somebody like you actively like whose content you actively enjoy.
Yeah, I actually did. I really used to enjoy. I think I discovered like ProJared and like Peanut Butter Gamer and like all the Normal Boots guys kind of at the same time.
Yeah, because they were all part of that whole like Game Grumps crowd.
Yeah, they were all kind of like friends together and stuff like that. I didn't like ProJared seemed to release a video once every like century, so I like didn't watch some of his stuff for the last like 2 years, and then just seeing that was like, okay, it's more funny now because I don't watch you, and I thought your content was getting kind of lame. But
yeah, I'm the same because I used to watch him a lot, then I just kind of stopped because like you said, he didn't put out content like except once every like 20 years or something. But then like his subreddit, because he's got like a ProJared subreddit, which is getting closed down now, by the way.
Yeah.
But like every now and then one of his posts would pop up with like a meme and stuff like that. I was like, that's funny. I remember this guy. And then I remember waking up on like, was it yesterday when it all came out or Friday?
I think it was Thursday or Friday. I think because I was like, I think it was Thursday night because it wasn't until like midday Friday that I started seeing stuff because I was at work.
Yeah, that's what because I was like going online and like I saw something with ProJared about like I think Heidi, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I just went down the rabbit hole and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, I was totally like, I was on my phone like way too much on Friday for being at work.
I know, right? Well, it's funny because like my girlfriend's really into like she's into like a lot of the YouTubers and stuff like way more than I am.
Yeah.
So I was just getting off the whole drama ride from like the Beauty Guru YouTubers.
Oh, James Charles.
Yeah, like that whole James Charles thing, and like she was like giving me the breakdown about like what happened and the timeline, and like I watched I think just about every drama video on it. I was like, man, like I think I'm satiated for my drama, Phil. And then I saw that pop up. I was like, oh shit, here we go again.
Well, I think the thing that made it so much more entertaining was just watching the entire internet fucking come down on him with like the wrath of God.
On who? On James Charles or
No, ProJared.
Yeah, well, and I think what made it worse, well, from my understanding, is he tried to do damage control beforehand because he blocked.
Yeah, it was what started the whole situation was him trying to damage control.
Yeah, because he blocked his wife, and then he put that whole like that pseudo letters like, "Hey, regrets from forum. We're getting a divorce. Yada yada yada. Like I wish her nothing but the best. It's just sometimes people don't work out." And then he put that little disclaimer at the very bottom saying, and just now that, just to get it out in the open, you might see some rumors from me in the next few days, but I just want to set the record straight. I was like, wait a minute. There's something you're not telling us here. And then like it slowly started coming out with like, because I think Holly was the girl.
Yeah, it was Holly.
She was like the first to to post on his comment, which was probably like, it's like she was sitting there waiting for him to post.
Basically, yeah.
And she, the whole thing like, oh, I'm really sorry. I hope, I'll be here. Let me know if you need anything. I was like, oh, that's iffy.
Mysterious.
Yep. And then, like Heidi starts unloading everything. But I think what because that kind of shit happens before. I mean, like I remember it happened with Dr. Disrespect when he cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sucks for them, but they usually come back from it. But I think what made it even worse was the fact that when the pedophilia stuff started coming up, talking about like soliciting pictures from like 16-year-old girls and this other like creepy ass shit, you're like, all right, this is just like a whole nother dumpster fire on top of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, do you follow there's a meme page on Twitter, Dolan Dark?
Yes.
Did you see his comments on it?
Which one was it?
It was on ProJared's apology, and he commented on Holly's comment, the like, I'm here if you need me. He just commented, bruh moment.
Oh yeah, he did. That's all he did was just say, bruh.
And it got like 50,000 likes, and then he like underneath that he posted like a fake YouTube video screenshot that was like top 10 bruh moments, and it was just a screenshot of her comment.
Dude, that's literally all he had to say. It's like, oh.
Like when a meme page can bury you that fast. And Heidi,
with one word.
Holy shit, Heidi is like the new fucking Thanos. Snapping her fingers on all of ProJared's life and Holly. What did she say? She said something fucking brutal like at Holly. She was like, you look really depressed in the nudes that you sent my husband. Maybe if you got laid, you wouldn't be so miserable.
Ouch.
And I was like, ooh, that's brutal.
And it sucks. So, like, I normally don't really care about this kind of drama, but at the same time, I was just like, man, I feel like a shit person, but I got my popcorn, and I'm just watching this go down.
I fucking dunked on him, too. I memed on him. I had no problem with it.
To be fair, I was just there for the memes. So.
Yeah, I got like just under 100 likes, and I was like, yeah, all right, I'm good.
Like, all right, I did my part. All right, we're done.
Yeah, I've shoveled my shovelful of dirt on his grave. Moving on.
There you go. You contributed to the war effort, so.
Yeah, I spent money on war bonds.
Yeah, but it's so weird though, man. Because I mean, like, my girlfriend always says that like when you get to a certain amount of fame, you just get bored and you like something snaps in you that you just start doing really stupid shit. And so far, I mean, it looks like that's true with every person I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not all of them. I think like okay, like ProJared looks like a rat, so at least from that standpoint, you could see it coming. I really hope that nothing like this ever comes out about like the completionist, because that I would die inside, because I've met him twice now at like conventions, and he is like just the sweetest fucking guy. He will take like and to like a popular person like that, 10 minutes at a convention is a lot.
Dude, that's why I'm like, I get really hesitant to meet the people that I really like. I met Danny and Aaron and Ninja Bob like years ago at MagFest,
Ninja Brian, excuse you.
Yeah, Ninja Brian. I'm sorry, man. It's been years. I'm a poser, apparently. No, but because they go to MagFest almost every year. And I remember because, as for people that don't know, MagFest is just like a music and game festival. And it's like 24 hours, like for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on. There's like a 24-hour arcade. There's like game rooms, all this shit. And I remember I was staying in the hotel. And I was walking, like, went to a bar with a couple of guys. And we were like, got some food, and we're walking back to our room at like I think 2 a.m, and I see Danny and Ninja Brian are just like standing in the hallway just talking, and I was like, what the hell? And like people keep stopping by to say hi, and like these guys, it's 2 a.m, I'm sure they're either drunk or probably tired of shit, but they're taking time to just talk to fans and everybody, and it's like the chillest thing. And I got to take a picture and meet them. I was like, hey guys, you guys are awesome. And it's like people like that, man, like I could not handle if it turns out that they're just like have like a weird sex trafficking ring on the side or something like that.
Yeah, I think that there are definitely some like safe bets, like Danny and Ninja Brian. Those seem like pretty safe bets. The Completionist, like these are people that are
They're just
like,
so wholesome.
They're like golden retrievers. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just that they can't do any wrong.
Oh, knock on wood, because that's how I felt about JonTron. Then he said some saucy things on Twitter, and I was like, ooh.
Twitter and Twitch, right? It was like he was like being interviewed by somebody. I thought was
it Twitch? Because I remember seeing the comments on Twitter, but but it might have been Twitch too.
I think the original thing was something that he posted on Twitter, and then someone was like, "Yo, come on my Twitch and like debate me or something."
Oh, then he doubled down on it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He doubled down hard on it too. It was like and I don't even. That was so long ago too. Like I hardly remember what some of the stuff he was talking about. I remember it was a lot of political stuff that like I didn't quite understand. I know there was some stuff about like immigrants. Was that what part of it was?
It's something, and it was something about like people being genetically smarter than others. It was some stuff.
It was he was saying some weird stuff that like I wouldn't expect someone like him to say.
Right?
Yeah, the kind of thing that I expect him to get like fucked up on like Molly and just start like ranting about like random shit,
Well, dude, Notch is the same way. Like, have you heard all the shit Notch has said from like the old Minecraft inventor?
I've seen some stuff. I saw that like he wasn't invited to Minecon or like the anniversary or something like that.
Yeah, not just that, but Microsoft took his name off the landing page.
Did they really?
Yeah, I mean, he's still credited in the credits and stuff, but like, before when you logged onto Minecraft, it said like Minecraft, and then like his name was like front and center.
Yeah.
His name got removed, and it's just they don't want to be associated with it because I think ever since he got more popular and stuff, he's gone like full like borderline incel kind of personality.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. It's like
That's
incel / like one of those weird like I'm not racist because I have scientific fact that backs up my claims kind of people.
Oh, so he's sipping on his own like fan base's juice a little bit.
I guess, but it's just like, oof, man. But I guess when you're like a billionaire and you really got nothing to do, I mean, just go to Crazy Town, I guess.
Yeah, really. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Someone's going to shoot you, I guess, because it's not like you're going to go broke or anything.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I'm pretty sure that's what that story, like the game was about. The guy just got filthy rich and got so bored that he bought an island and started hunting people.
Oh, yeah.
It's just pretty much like the digital age version of that now.
Yeah, isn't there some dude that wants to start like a real life battle royale island, which is like that seems like a terrible idea.
Surprise me. I could see Elon Musk doing that just because he's so kooky and eccentric.
I could see Elon Musk doing that with like Nerf guns or something, but I think this guy wanted to use like actual guns.
That's illegal,
like,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you can do that unless you make it a game show that's like, inmates on death row that are like, if you win, we'll shorten your sentence or something like that.
But I feel like that's been done in like, you're talking about Running Man.
Yeah, or Gamer.
Remember you're right. Gamer did that too. Yeah,
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that's the one where like people would possess them and control them and stuff.
Yeah, they had like a chip in their like cerebral cortex or something that like at a certain point someone would just start controlling you and playing as you basically.
Oh God. This is such a boring dystopia.
Yeah, it really stinks.
And speaking about things that stink, Borderlands 3 is coming soon this year, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard, but David Eddings, which was the original voice of Claptrap, will no longer be voicing him. And there's some more drama around that.
Yeah, I guess Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford like slapped his ass or something. No, I'm just kidding. He said that he physically assaulted him at some point or something like that.
Yeah, so like the story that I managed to read into and dig up from like different sources is that David Eddings was I think he was like one of the VP of like marketing communications for Gearbox. And when Borderlands came out, he had volunteered to do like the voice of Claptrap, and he didn't get paid for that because he got paid his regular salary from his position, so he just kind of was doing this as a volunteer favor. So they were fine. Something happened at some point where him and Randy Pitchford got into some kind of altercation, and then he got terminated, and then he jumped ship and started working for Rooster Teeth. And while he was there, he made a comment about how like he was done with Claptrap and like he'll still do it for fans when they ask him, but other than that, he's probably not going to be like voicing Claptrap in any upcoming games. And then Borderlands 3 came up, and then somebody had brought that issue up again. It's like, hey, why isn't he doing Claptrap, blah blah blah? And then Randy Pitchford threw out like, oh well, we asked him, but he copped an attitude and said he didn't want to do it ever again or something like that, or like or he didn't want to accept the rate that we offered him, and and in true Randy Pitchford fashion, he just kind of like took some stabs at him. And I think Eddings fired back saying like, that's not true. I offered to do it for free if you guys paid me the royalties that were due. Because from what I was reading, apparently Gearbox employees don't get paid as high as other developers because they have they strike a deal where they get like a certain amount of royalties from the game sales. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it seems like a good deal, right? If the game does good, you get more money. So I guess he wanted like that deal and for back pay for all the games where he voiced Claptrap at.
Right.
And in exchange, he'd do Claptrap for free, which I'm like, that seems fair. He just wants the same deal everybody has. And that's where like I think Randy Pitchford said no. Which, I mean, I guess they left it at that. And then Randy went on Twitter again, went on another tirade and like called him out for some other shit, basically saying he was just being that he was whining, complaining that they tried to work with him and he said no and all this stuff. Tried throwing him under the bus. And I think Eddings came back and fired again saying, you know what? And he kind of talked about how the reason he got fired was because they were at some like hosting event they were doing, and somebody had walked up to Eddings and told him that, hey, I think that they're, like somebody's going to be trying to sell Gearbox to an investor. And I don't have the guy's name right now, but apparently Eddings went to Randy and like brought it up. He's like, hey, like somebody told me that somebody's trying to sell like Gearbox. Did you know about this? And I guess like Pitchford got really upset. He's like, who the hell told you this? Kind of like demanding to find out like who told him.
Right.
And David didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to write the source out, which I can totally understand because you don't want to write out like an employee and stuff.
No.
But I guess like Randy didn't like that, and I guess he threatened him, and he like shoved him against the wall or something, saying that like you better fucking tell me and all this stuff. Like you need to know where your loyalties are. And then I think he still refused. So a few days later, he was canned. And I think, and I think that's supposedly like what led to like the whole falling out he had. And I was like, damn, that seems like that's like intense.
That's very intense, especially coming from Randy Pitchford, who's a fucking dork bitch.
Dude, he's like one of those people that should not have access to Twitter, especially in the position that he's in, because he just likes to go off and just say the craziest things.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about these like video game company CEOs and shit where they're just like suddenly they're nothing like what you would expect them to be. They're just like these ego fucking maniac assholes.
And it's weird because like on the one hand, I think that the people that get in those positions, I'm like, oh man, like like they're probably gamers, and that gamers should be passionate about what they're doing, so they should really be like, I don't know why I would think this, but friendly with everybody because like we're all like sharing a similar hobby. But then I think about the people that I've played with online, and I was like, no, they're pretty trash human beings too. So I can kind of see how also they would fall into that category as well.
Yeah, and I mean the people that like get into those positions, unless they're the ones that like start the company, like what's the guy that does like Undertale, Toby Fox? Like I'm sure he's a fucking nerd gamer dork like the rest of us because he's like one dude. He like did his own thing. He's probably like technically the CEO of whatever brand he puts Undertale under, but like the dudes that are running like Gearbox and shit, like these are people that have like business degrees that like they're there because it's a CEO job, not because it's a video game company.
But if that's the case, you would think that they would have enough sense to be like, hey, I'm a CEO, let me act in accordance to that and not make a fool of myself. But
right, I think they just have like no idea, like they're out of touch, I think is the word.
Like no filter.
Yeah, they're just like I guess there's no, I don't want to associate anybody with a specific political party, but
yeah, we'll just leave it at that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, we'll refrain from, let's say not any specific party, but just extreme on whatever side they're on.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because there are shitty people on every side.
Yeah, but I guess, I mean, if you're in that position, though, I'm assuming that you have to have kind of like a very tight, certain type of personality, just very aggressive type A kind of thing. And I mean, I can kind of see how those type of people would be the ones that would be most influenced by that kind of cult of personality they kind of gather.
The fucking alpha male gamer Chad.
Oh, God. Damn Virgin Gamers versus the CEO Chad.
Yeah, incel subreddit.
But yeah, man, it's kind of a shame though, because like I know like the Claptrap character was such like a iconic thing to the series. I mean,
it's hugely iconic. It's probably like the most well-known character in the series.
Yeah, I can still hear his fucking voice, man. Like that's how well known it is. And I mean, the fact that like that kind of personal drama can get in the way of just people doing their jobs and giving the community something that's like so well known is kind of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, that guy definitely deserves his royalties if you think about, like, how much money has fucking Claptrap merchandise made over the years.
Yeah, dude, and, like, I mean, and I think he's been in just about every single game, because you've had Borderlands 2, the expansion packs, like, the pre-sequel, you've had, like, the Telltale games Borderlands, they had a couple of other spin-off titles, so, I mean, he's a staple to the series.
Yeah. I can't think of what the new Claptrap's voice sounded like in the trailers. Was he like radically different?
I don't remember, honestly, and that's the thing. I don't know if that's, I mean, I'm sure like the guy, I don't remember his name, but the guy they hired, I mean, I know he'll do his part and he'll do well, but it sucks for him too that he's kind of getting swept under this whole like drama now, because just by association.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because people are probably gonna look at him and judge his performance or like unfairly because of all of this extra weight that's on it now.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, man, he's not as good as fucking Eddings.
But I mean, all we can hope is that he does his best and that people hopefully just see it for what it is.
Yeah, is Borderlands 3 an Epic Store exclusive? Did I see that somewhere?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame.
Is it like a timed exclusive thing? Like, will it be on Steam?
Timed. I think like 6 months to a year, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say 6 months. So after that, it should be available on Steam, which, I mean, cool. It just seems kind of like they're really going out for Steam, like, in particular. Because I think they've had a couple of the games that have been releasing that I think the new Ghost Recon is going to be Ubisoft Store and Epic only. I think Outer Worlds or not Outer Worlds. What's the other one?
Yeah, Outer Worlds, I think.
It sounds like Outer Worlds.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Well, there's two like space type survival games.
Oh.
That's another one. It's an Epic Store exclusive, and I think it's going to be sold on Windows Store as well.
Windows Store? Who the fuck uses that?
Right? But Windows games, but not on Steam. So it seems like all these things are really just to dig it at Steam, which is kind of like, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do to get your business growing. And, their plan of attack is just buying up market share. So if that works for them, more power to them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Steam really did have a monopoly on stuff like that until now. So, I mean, competition is not necessarily the worst thing possible. I've heard some people talk about like reasons that they don't like the Epic Store, and I don't understand all of them because I'm dumb.
Yeah, I think my thing is though that I don't really see a lot of competition. Like I don't consider buying up market share competition because like the idea of competition is that you guys are competing in this on the same ground, so it forces you to constantly improve yourself to give to be the better option.
Right.
Because if you're not the better option, then people are just gonna be like, you know what, we're gonna go with these guys instead.
Right.
But they're not even giving people the option. Like they're just essentially saying, hey, you can only play the game on our store, so that's really all we got to worry about. So like when I look at it that way, I kind of think that all the other things that they're lacking that they could be improving on, they really don't have an incentive on it because their whole mentality is people will go where the games are so we can fuck off and do whatever we want, because if they want to play the game, they have to come to us.
Yeah, I know I've heard like that the how the developers get paid is different on the Epic Store. I don't remember how it's different, but I just know
they get a
different.
bigger cut, and I think they also get like a guaranteed number of sales, which is I think that what's really big appealing to them. Where like
so like you're gonna make a certain amount of money no matter how many people actually buy it.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you sign our exclusivity agreement, we'll guarantee you like X number of sales, and basically they'll pay out of pocket for those sales to guarantee to live up to their part of the bargain, and hopefully that they can make it back with actual sales later on.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they've got plenty of money in their bank account just from fucking Fortnite alone.
Yeah. I mean, that Fortnite well's gonna have to run dry soon.
Is it?
I don't know how sustainable that is, dude. Like I guess it's a good market strategy to get people to your launcher, but dude, like they're just throwing money at everything.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they just started season 9 of Fortnite, I think, correct? Or they're starting it. I saw something about like Tilted Towers is all different now, and I'm saying this all straight up my ass because I have played Fortnite less than 5 times in my life. I don't know, dude.
I'm the same way because I got into was it Battlegrounds?
Yeah, PUBG.
And I played PUBG for a little bit, and then by the time that Fortnite was kind of started coming up, I was getting tired of PUBG. So like I jumped on Fortnite for maybe all of like a few days, and I just never kind of picked it back up after that.
No, the only one that I really got into is Apex.
Although I heard Apex is in trouble too now.
Apex is in trouble because they don't update it.
Really?
They basically, so like, you know how you see like every time you sneeze, there's a new like thing about Fortnite updates?
Yeah.
Basically, well, the problem with Apex is that they like build up all these updates that the game needs, and then they dump them all in at once, like every like, however so often. But like, so the game will go unchanged for like weeks at a time. People will find like bugs and stuff and glitches and things like that. Like if you stand on top of the weapons crate and you open it, it'll instantly kill you. And like they don't fix it for like weeks on end, even though there's like 10 million YouTube videos of people doing it.
So it's just kind of like a lot of like downtime between updates, even for bug fixes?
Yeah, even for bug fixes and like the content updates too. I mean, shit, with a game that's basically a hero shooter that started off with only 8 characters, they've only added 1 character, and it's like,
ouch,
guys, like we need something, or like change one of the characters, or give them a different set of abilities, because there's a couple characters that people are like, Mirage, his abilities are pretty fucking useless. Like, why not give him a different gimmick or something like that, or make his ability something else, and it's just like, nah, we're just gonna like keep it how it is, and we'll let you know when we decide to like add the next character or whatever. I don't know.
I feel like Fortnite and Apex are just the opposite ends of the extreme, because I've also heard issues with Fortnite where I think like the workload that they're under is not sustainable because they're cranking out updates like every other hour essentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, after a while, like, I mean, like, you're going to run you're going to outpace yourself. But then
exactly.
On the opposite side, though, you have people on Apex where, like you said, like, they do really big content updates. Because I remember the last huge one had like the new interactive environment with like the beasts and stuff, right?
Beasts and stuff. I don't remember that.
Like the dinosaurs like hanging outside the stage with like crawled like can walk in and stuff.
Oh, I think they can move around a little bit. They can't really walk in. There's also like a Loch Ness Easter egg where if you like shoot 6 plush Loch Ness monsters and then you go like stand out by like the outer edge of the map, you can see Loch Ness like come out of the water and then go back down. And that's it.
See, that sucks. Because like that seems like a cool Easter egg, but like, granted, I'm sure from the development standpoint, there's a lot more work that goes into it. But I think from players, they kind of see it as something inconsequential. So like that kind of Easter egg seems like the kind of thing that they should add probably more rapidly.
Right.
I would think.
Yeah, like the Nazi zombies, like Easter eggs and stuff like that from like all the Call of Duty games where it's like, if you shoot these 5 things, this song will play. And it's like, all right, that's cool. It's inconsequential, but it's cool.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, okay, someone took some time to put this in there. This is cool, I guess. But where's the rest of the content?
Right, and the rest of the content is there because it's zombies mode. It's always fun.
Yeah, and then you have poor Anthem that's like just a complete outlier with no updates, and that's a whole nother thing.
Anthem is just like the little engine that couldn't.
And it's sad because like people are still playing it because the gameplay is actually fun.
Right, like the shooting and stuff.
Yeah, like the shooting, like the special abilities, like the flying is like phenomenal. This is probably like my favorite Iron Man kind of game that I've played that doesn't let you do anything else. It's like people want to play it, but they're not being given a reason to keep playing, essentially.
Right, which is a very similar problem that Apex is having. Because the thing about Apex, too, is there is one game mode.
That's it.
There's 3-man squads, and that is it. There's no ranked mode. There's no solos. There's no, 4-player squads.
See, I feel like those kind of games live or die by like community's interest. So if you take not to segue at a completely unrelated thing, but like Dr. Disrespect, when he left Twitch for a while, I think he left it for a couple of months. He came back and he hasn't been able to like get back to his old viewership.
Yeah.
Because when you take that break, when there's that gap, people lose interest, and it's very hard to get them back. And I feel like Apex might be getting there. And I think Anthem is definitely on that road where it's just been so long where the developers don't even communicate with the public anymore because of the backlash. That I think there's only a small handful of people that are constantly checking if there's something up, but for the most part, they've moved on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like always when I see like the Apex Legends Twitter like tweet something, I'm like, oh, what is it? And then I go and see, and it's like, we banned 750,000 cheaters today, and I'm like, cool.
What does that do
give
for
a
me?
shit. Yeah, I'm like, how about like another character, or like change a portion? Like, do fucking something, please.
Yeah, and it sucks because like you actively want to play the game, but if they're not really giving you anything to play, it's like, okay, well, like, do you not want me to stay here?
Yeah, or give us like some kind of goofy game mode like they do in Overwatch all the time, where it's like you have your ults unlimited, or like you move around 1,000% faster, or something. Like do something cool, like use the fact that it's a battle royale with a big map and let me like have fucking moon gravity or something.
Yeah, like dude, Overwatch added their workshop where people can just fuck around and like build their own like game modes and stuff now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems with Apex is there's no like creator tools. Like there's no like theater mode. There's no like none of that stuff, and that's in like every battle royale game. I think like Fortnite and PUBG, they have like theater modes where you can go and like move the camera around, like the last match you were playing. Like fucking Halo 3 had that. Like,
Oh yeah, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, something.
Even just like do Fortnite stuff where they just like nuke part of the map and put something different there.
Yeah, dude, I mean they gotta do something because like right now I think that's part of the reason why Fortnite's lasted so long, because even if the updates are like minimal or like they're just small, it's keeping people engaged way more.
Yeah, and I think one of the big like insults was the battle pass for Apex, or at least the first season. I hope they change it, because like the battle pass was just total dog shit. There is nothing in that battle pass. There's like one gold like loot box where you're guaranteed 3 legendary items, but you have to be like rank 90 in the battle pass to get it, and the ranks for the battle pass are like absurd to get.
Dude, yeah, man, I'd be upset if I spent money on the battle pass.
I fucking spent money on the battle pass and I'm pissed.
Yeah, dude, because like it's, you feel like you're not getting your money's worth.
Not at all. I mean, the skins that they put in there are just like the most boring fucking skins, and they're like, it's just the same 3 skins over and over for different guns, because there's, you know, like 20 something guns in the game, so like every like 5 levels you get a skin for this gun, a skin for that gun, double XP, a regular loot box, and like a banner border for a character you don't play as. It's like, no. Really?
And aren't most of the character skins themselves just like a palette swap and that's it?
It's kind of like Overwatch, where it's like the legendary skins are completely different, like new stuff, and then like there's purple tier skins, which are like moving skins, where they have like a pattern that like moves around on your armor and stuff. Those are kind of cool. But then yeah, the blue and white skins are just palette swaps, and there's a ton of them for every character.
Yeah, I mean, see, and that sucks. So it's almost like fake variety. We're like, okay, that's cool, but put a little bit more detail, I guess. You know, something more.
Yeah, and even like the palette swap skins for each character are the same for every character, so every character has the same palette swaps. Like, nobody has unique ones until you get to the legendary ones.
I'm sure that takes forever.
Oh, it's completely random because it's just loot boxes.
Oh,
so you could get, you know, 3 legendary skins in a box, but you could also get 2 white ones and a blue one for the rest of eternity.
My heart. That's why RNG is just awful.
Yeah, RNG is poopy, but the game is free.
Yeah, I guess you get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's not like Overwatch where the game is not free, and you could also do that.
Yeah, but hey, at least they're still, well, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of concern that Overwatch is kind of going to soon be dead in the water, but I guess we'll see with BlizzCon. Because I think
that's true.
They've added characters, but I think they've kind of given up on like adding, like developing the lore, the story for the game.
Yeah, I feel like they've also given up on balancing it too.
Yeah, so we'll kind of see what happens down the line. All right, man, but I think that about wraps it up for this episode.
Yeah, Avengers, ProJared's dick,
some drama, and some video game talk. So I mean, I think we covered the 3 points in the holy trinity of like the nerd world.
Yeah, movies, video games, and celebrity dick pics.
There we go. Oh God! All right. All right, man. Well, we will see you guys hopefully in a week and we should hopefully have a title for the podcast or something.
Yeah, we're gonna like rip off someone else's podcast. Probably. We'll just hope that they're like dead or something.
Yeah, or if anybody has any recommendations for titles or what we can call this shenanigan cast, we're all ears. So I hope to hear from you guys.
Yeah. See you guys later.